Did you know holiday season is the riskiest time for accidents in Airbnbs and short-term rentals?
So we're going to give you tips to keep your guests and your property safe. Hi, I'm Sarah Karakayan.
And I'm Annette Grant. And together we are
Thanks for visiting.
We've been hosting for well over a decade, welcomed tens of thousands of guests, and earned thousands of 5-star reviews.
Our portfolio continues to bring in over $1.5 million year over year, and supported not only by the industry's leading brands, but also some of the biggest media outlets.
And we're here to help you with your furnished rental.
Tip number 1, fire safety. All right, when it comes to fire safety, the number one cause of fires, especially during the holidays, are unattended cooking fires. And so the tip here is to make sure that you have a fire extinguisher on hand. You want to make sure that it is charged and ready before every single guest checks in. That's part of our inspection process. And what's the biggest tip with that, Annette?
Biggest tip is don't be like me. I used to hide them underneath my sink. And think about it, if a fire happens, oh my gosh, that's going to be such a scary situation for them. You do not want them having to open up cupboards, look underneath, rummage around. You want to have that fire extinguisher on the wall, easy for them to locate, pull it off, and extinguish that fire. So if you have a fire extinguisher underneath, in a cabinet or above, you need to make sure that it's placed on the wall. We can't tell you how many short-term rentals we've stayed in, and they're underneath the sink, and if something or they're near the actual heating element, so they're too close. If there's something that happens, they need to be able to steer clear of the fire and make sure that they can put it out. And this is not only going to protect your guest, it's also going to protect your home. And I know what you're thinking. You're like, I do not want to hang a bright red fire extinguisher in my kitchen. We hear this all the time from hosts because it's going to mess up their design aesthetic. Well, we do not need an emergency. And guess what? There are white fire extinguishers that can blend in with the wall. There are decorative fire extinguishers that blend in. We'll make sure to link below the white one that we give to a lot of hosts who have that template. But listen, that is not an excuse to not hang a fire extinguisher for your guests.
Another component to fire safety are space heaters and fireplaces. So you want to make sure that you have any sort of space heater and fireplace, of course, inspected each and every year. Space heaters especially, I know that we can run and get them, maybe like your HVAC went down and you want to get heat to your guests, but just remember a lot of them pose a lot of fire risks. And so use those with caution. When it comes to your fireplace, make sure that you keep decorations far away from the fireplace, and you probably want to have some sort of signage near the fireplace reminding guests themselves to keep decorations away, to keep gifts away. If you have a fireplace that is strictly decorative, I know a lot of insurance company will require you to do something so a guest could not put a log of wood and start a fire there, even if you tell them it's decorative. Remember to err on the side of caution and always have conversations with your insurance company about how you should proceed with any fireplaces you have in your property.
Yeah, and if you have a gas fireplace or a wood-burning fireplace, we would like you to include a QR code of a video exactly how to use your fireplace in the safest way for your guests. We believe video, like showing them exactly how to use it, is the safest way. Tip number 2, candle alternatives and decor safety. We know everyone in the, let's say it's a warm winter, it's cold winter, not warm winter, when they want to make it warm, like to light candles. No way, nada happening in our houses, okay? But we know that candles do give off that, that ambiance, that feel. Buy flameless ones. They are remote control. I have them all over my house because I cannot be trusted with candles.
She cannot be trusted, everyone.
I fall asleep with candles. I actually threw my last candle away last week because
she kept telling me stories. And listen, if Vanetta's doing this in her own home, she kept telling me stories. Sarah, I fell asleep last night and the candle was going, and then another story would come like that. And I'm like,
or I left my house and I forgot to blow out the candles. And so that's in my own house. So guests have vacation brain. They really do. They are relaxing. They might be, imbibing, having some cocktails. So you just want to make sure that it's as safe as possible. So have a candle alternative. If you have any candles, if you're a host right now and you have candles in your house, remove them ASAP. All of the matches, all the lighters, that is the number one cause of people actually leaving those fires, of leaving candles and matches in their house. Especially, let's say they bring kids on the trip. They're not used to seeing matches, candles. They could be playing around with them. So please make sure if you have any sort of, you want to remove all candles and have an alternative, which would be the flameless electric ones that are remote control.
So I'm a big fan of real Christmas trees. In my own home, fine. But when it comes to Christmas trees in your vacation rental properties, in your short-term rental properties, we recommend artificial ones because the real ones can dry out and become fire hazards.
Bottom line. Yeah. Here's some more decor tips. We know you like to decorate for the holidays. Maybe even your guest wants to bring their own decorations for the holidays. You want to make sure that the outlets are not overloaded. Maybe have some surge protectors available for them. But that is the one thing people are going to be, maybe they're doing gift exchanges at their house and they're plugging everything in. So just make sure that your outlets are in good working order and provide some surge protectors for your guests. And if you're decorating, let's say it's interior or exterior, don't be Clark Griswold. We've all seen the movie. We laugh at that, but we don't want any sort of electrocution happening. So please have your electrical checked each year too. Make sure all of your outlets are in good working order.
Don't use that staple gun when you hang your lights.
Right, use hooks, exactly.
Tip number 3, food contamination and guest communication. Annette, tell the good people of the world how good of a chef you are. How often you cook.
I don't cook.
Actually, I don't cook either.
I wish you could see my refrigerator right now. It has some sparkling water.
You've got
some carrot cake for my mom that she made me.
So what do you do for Thanksgiving?
We actually don't have a lot of meat eaters in our family, so we do actually brunch. Oh. But if your guests are not like us.
Your guests are probably going to have several meat options. They're going to bring their food. They're going to cook in your kitchen. So this is not a safety tip, but I always give this like measurement. You are a fantastic vacation rental if you can cook a turkey dinner, a Thanksgiving dinner in your property. One of those things that you want to include is a thermometer.
Yeah, you don't want people eating, not done meat. That would not be good for the whole family and your property.
We'll link to a tried and true one that is actually really simple. There aren't a bunch of like buttons on it and things of that nature. It just takes the temperature of the piece of meat because you want to make sure that nothing can come back to you as the rental owner if anyone were to get sick while preparing food in your property.
And just general kitchen safety notes during the holidays. Again, people are out of their own homes. This is a new kitchen for them. Remind them of anything in your kitchen that maybe something heats up fast, or remind them of the wattage of your microwave. There are just so many tips and tricks that you can put really friendly magnet on your refrigerator saying, hey, happy holidays. Gives them some orders. Hey, this is exactly where the fire extinguisher is, but just reminding them of everything that your kitchen has and where they can locate all the utensils.
Actually, this is a really good tip that we just picked up from one of our coaches in our membership. We went and stayed at one of her vacation rentals in the Scottsdale, Phoenix area. We'll link to it in the show notes, but there's these really cool clear magnets. They're like an 8.5 by 11, and it sticks to your fridge, and you can change out the paper inside. So this way, people don't have to leaf through a book, and the welcome book that you provide, the physical one, doesn't get lost. Keep it on the fridge, but then you can change it out for the different holidays. And so if you have one in there that's specific about what guests do in property during the holidays, like just the cooking safety tips that Annette just recommended, that'd be a really great way to keep content that you post at your property up to date and timely.
And you could do some fun stuff there too on those magnets. Let them know maybe there's a 24-hour grocery shop available, making them aware of that, and then peppering in other things like maybe they need a liquor store or a wine shop, letting them know about that availability. So that's what we like to do, is like give the safety messages, but then also follow it up with some hospitality tips there too for them. Tip number 4, winter weather prep. Walkway safety. Your guests, remember, they are going to be bringing luggage in. They're going to bring maybe lots of groceries in. Maybe they're packing gifts in. So you need to make sure it is no excuse. You need to A, have a snow removal team that is clearing your driveways and walkways. But also, you need to prepare your guest to be able to take care of the walkway also. Prepare them with salt, with shovels, because sometimes, let's say there is a heavy snow and your snow removal team can't get there. Maybe your guest has an emergency during the middle of the night. They need to get out of the home. So we provide salt in buckets at all of our properties with a shovel. And of course, we have a team that removes the snow too, but we want to equip our guest if they needed to. They could clear the walkways. And here's the deal. You cannot prep your house too soon, because I know some of us are having those really long summers and you just can't even think about winter. But when it comes and you do not want to be caught without being prepared for your guests. Heating instructions for your guests. Now, you know your property and your geographical location better than we do, but I am assuming sometimes, like I know in our area, some of our older homes, like we need to let our guests understand how low the temperature can go because we don't want pipes freezing and we don't want them opening some of the windows in the winter. There are some things that we also winter prep for our doors to make sure that we're not letting the cold air in, but you know your property, so make sure that you're communicating with your guests those heating instructions of what the temperatures might be during their stay and how they can prevent any sort of pipe freezing and just overall safety and warmth in the home.
As a host, whether if you haven't started yet, and if you have started, I am now triggered by weather reports, not just for myself, but also for my guests. And you need to get that way too. So like if a heavy rainfall is coming, other than feeling like, oh, like I can't, I don't know, I might want to get my groceries before the rain comes, like also be thinking about your properties and your guests. If the heavy snow is going to come in, like during a guest stay at some of your properties, how are you going to get out there? Make sure you can clearly communicate to them about that. And of course, you can leverage the smart technology in your home to set boundaries on your thermostat and explain to guests, like, we can't let the temperature in the home fall below this, so therefore you won't be able to do it. This is for your safety. Having communication with your guests about those things and those fail-safes using smart technology is always really helpful.
Here's a TFE pro tip for you. Also have your HVAC team already ready before the winter hits, okay? You don't want to be that 50th person that called the HVAC company that day. If you could have a preventative maintenance plus a plan in line with that HVAC company, they're going to get to your home faster than anyone else that doesn't already have a relationship built with them. So we want you to already have a relationship built, have their number on speed dial, and know that they are going to get out to your house first. So again, this is just planning ahead of time. If something were to happen, you want to make sure that you can get someone out there ASAP.
Piggybacking off of that, if you also have the serial number or at least make and model of your furnace readily, I actually just called yesterday for a dishwasher repair, and I know it's not HVAC, but it's the same principle. The tech who is familiar with us asked for the serial and model, not the serial number, but the model number of the unit, because that way he already can prep his team. They come out and they are able to troubleshoot faster if they have that information. So again, having the model number to all of your appliances and utilities in your property is really helpful. Tip number 5, emergency preparedness. Remember how I was talking about those great clear magnets that you can put on your fridge and then put a piece of paper inside? Not only to communicate with your guests about food and safety, well, safety with your food, but also the contact information to emergency services, the address of the property. Why is that important? Because if something happens in your property and your guest needs to call the emergency professionals, think of it. They are stressed out. They are in a location they're not familiar with. Having your address up there on the fridge for anyone to find. Again, the welcome book, your physical welcome book, isn't like a kid didn't put under the seat cushion of the sofa, or maybe Wi-Fi's down, they can't get your digital guidebook. Having something on the fridge for everyone to see and having your address on there is a great way to equip your guests with the information they need to contact emergency authorities. And there you have it, our tips for safety this holiday season. And the final reminder we can give you is that you have to stay proactive with your properties. As you approach the holiday season, start creating your own safety checklist of how you can get your property ready for your holiday guests. No matter where you are in the world, different holidays are happening. When they start to happen, give yourself a few weeks before then to get a professional in there to do safety checks, or curate your safety checklist and contact the fire department or the police department or any other professionals in your area if you're not sure what to include on that safety checklist, and make sure you conduct it, keep a record of it, and nip anything in the bud in your property that might need something tuned up before you start hosting guests for the holiday season.
Yep, it's all about being proactive versus reactive, because you don't want that late night call, you don't want that last minute text. So you've got time ahead of time. Like, this is where just taking that little bit of time and work will save you so much in the long run.
You've already been soaking in all the Airbnb content with this holiday safety information. Keep the education going. We've got a great video all about what not to do when submitting an air cover claim on Airbnb, and the guest check-in process that you're not doing, and it's actually costing you money. With that, I am Sarah Karakan.
I'm Annette Grant, and together we are
Thanks for visiting. Talk to you next time.